My name is Dan Larson. I've lived here in Attleboro all my life and have been part of a family that works at Larson Tool and has run it for better than 100 years. And there were a lot of tool makers and craftspeople that came out of Sweden in the late 1800s, and that's kind of what got Larson Tool going. And actually that was my grandfather and uncle. Larson Tool is what I refer to as a jobbing company. We are contractors making stuff with power presses. Over the years, for probably 50 or 60 different companies. Our founders kind of came out of Mossberg, and APCO Mossberg was very involved with Henry Ford, and they would make the ratchet wrench sets that got to be part of every Ford that was made when they made the Model A and the Model Ts. We don't work directly for Ford or General Motors, but we work for their subcontractors and making parts for them, and we're still doing that. This is a good example of how things have changed in manufacturing over the years. This is an item that we made back in the late 40s and early 50s, and it's an oil filter. And we made them for the Fram Corporation. Probably weighs 2 pounds. Today, it has been totally replaced. The throwaway filters that are on the cars today are what they call spin-ons, something less than a half a pound or a quarter of a pound, and it's how the industry has changed. This is also a very interesting part that has a lot of history to it. It's a Bostitch stapler. We made this whole unit, everything that you see. They come to us with a plan and then we quote it. We might be quoting again like a contractor. The low price always wins. For the most part, once you've got the work, you've got the work. My generation came in the 50s and early 60s. I knew it's what I wanted to do. And I went to work in their engineering department. From that department, I got involved with sales. And after becoming sales manager, I became responsible for the entire shop floor. My father passed away maybe 5 years after I started working at Larson Tool. He had a heart murmur. Working for my father is something I wished I was able to spend more time. I was really, at that point, really just getting to know my father as an individual rather than as an authoritative person that would tell me everything that I should be doing. I missed that. Back in the early 70s, we got involved with making fire extinguishers. And I was very, very involved with that process, along with one of my cousins. We were actually making product for the start of the Amerex Corporation. They came very close to being bankrupt. And if they had gone bankrupt, we would have gone bankrupt. But it all worked out and we both hung in together. And we're pretty much the sole contractor for Amerex Corporation, so we make an awful lot of fire extinguishers. I ended up as being the president of the company, and I was president of the company from sometime in the late 80s until I retired about 18 years ago. Back really in the late 80s, the country invented the microchip. When we first were making fire extinguishers, we'd have 7, 8 people on the line. It runs with one person now. Basically, in our case, it's wiped out half of our employment. It's kind of sad when you think about it in the scope of things, but kept us making things here rather than it going to China or Japan. And I think it's kind of interesting because they within the last couple of years have been talking about automation. And I'm saying, come on, guys. The automation started way back in the 80s, so get with it. I went to college. I was never a good student. So the only college degree I have today happens to be an honorary one. But I ended up graduating from Wentworth Institute. And I was in a trade, and my trade was tool making. So I think, what they're doing at Attleboro High School is absolutely phenomenal. They have built a brand new high school in Attleboro. They currently have 19 different trades that they offer. They have a welding shop over there, and I know one of the welders that we have came through the high school program. 80% of the kids at the high school go to some kind of a class in the trades. And actually, the high school gives them that opportunity to get an apprenticeship and to go to work for a plumber, go to work for an electrician, for a carpenter. There they will really learn their trades, but they've got a big jump on what's going on. Our market is pretty much the whole East Coast at the moment. We just happen to be located in Attleboro. We have very, very little turnover, which has worked out very well for us. It was interesting, their personalities prior to retiring would change and get very bitter, because usually you're very happy about thinking about retiring. Many, many, many times I had a phone call within 2 months of them retiring. Have you got anything for me to do? And they were thrilled to come back. They were the best employees when they came back. They were happy. They knew they could walk out the door anytime they wanted. And what a difference it made for those people. It was amazing.